Well, welcome everybody and good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Great. Glad you're all here. I'm Sandy McLaughlin. I'm the General Manager for Air Products LNG Engineering and Manufacturing team. And I'd like to welcome everybody here today for this opening and dedication ceremony of this new manufacturing plant, our new Air Products LNG heat exchanger manufacturing plant here in Port Manatee County, Florida. Before we begin the program this morning, I'd just like to say that Air Products is a very safety-conscious company. Our company culture is, in fact, that nothing is more important than safety, and therefore we wouldn't be complete today if we didn't have a safety message. And with that, I would just like to point out, as you can see, there are pieces of large manufacturing equipment around this event area, and therefore I would just ask you all to be cognizant of that, stay back from it. There are safety barriers up, and if you just recognize that, then everybody will be safe today and we can all enjoy the event. Thank you. I'm pleased to say that we have several esteemed guests with us here today and many Air Products executives here with us at the facility today for this event. Several of these guests who are behind me will be speaking today in a few moments, but there are other guests here that I would really like to recognize us who are here seated in the audience today. So if I can take a minute just to recognize those people, and when I say your name, if you could just stand up so that everybody can see who you are, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So first of all, representing State Senator Bill Gavano's office, we have Whitney Deem and Vicky Brill. Thank you. We have Florida State Representative Jim Boyd. Thank you, Jim. And from Manatee County Commissioners, we have Vanessa Baugh. Thank you. Betsy Binnack. John Chappie. Robin DeSabatino. Michael Garland. And Carol Whitmore. Nice, Carol. From Manatee County Administration, we have Ed Hunsiger. The City of Palmetto Mayor, Shirley Groover Bryant. Longboat Key Vice Mayor, Dave Brenner. Thank you. And Braden Area Economic Development Corporation Board Chair, John Rice, who was, I think is here somewhere. Anyway, thank you all again for sharing this day with us. Greatly appreciated. Around 2.5 years ago, Air Products saw that there was going to be an increased demand in the marketplace for our very large and proprietary LNG heat exchanger equipment. Being responsible for ensuring that we have the resources in place to support that business, I became responsible for setting up a search team that was charged for finding a suitable location, a second manufacturing facility, so that it could build these products. And one of the key notes of that was to make sure that we eliminated any transportation restrictions or limitations that we would have around that equipment in future. I had to be very honest that I found that a very enjoyable task. Right? Really. Over the course of the 2 years that we spent doing this, during the whole selection process and the subsequent construction, I really did have the opportunity to meet and get to know a lot of wonderful people in this area. It's been a great experience. I personally look forward to our continued association as Air Products Port Manatee facility goes from basically what's been a concept and construction mode into now an operation and production mode. During our search, we discovered this site, which provided us with everything that we believed we needed in an operation, an operation for this type of facility. And with the support of the many parties that I'm sure that John McGlade is going to mention in a few moments, a winning package was put together to ensure that this location could compete with any others that we were considering at the time. We will begin manufacturing on our first project later this month with the over 50 people that we've already hired here at the facility. And I'm happy to report that the vast majority of those people are hired locally and from within Florida, including most of the senior management team. This beautiful new facility, it really is the culmination of a lot of efforts from a lot of people, many who aren't actually here with us today. because they're very busy building LNG heat exchangers at our facility in Port Manatee in Florida. They're as busy as we hope this place is going to be very soon. But that's enough from me, and now I'd like to introduce our first distinguished speaker, who was very integral and involved in Air Products' decision to locate here in Manatee County. So I'm pleased and honored to introduce to you your Governor of Florida, Governor Rick Scott.
Cindy, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Hopefully, if there are any Seminoles fans out there, on top of the fact that we're a little bit warmer than Allentown, so I'm sure it was easier to get people down here. We are the national champions in football, so congratulations to all the Seminoles. I want to thank John McGlade, the President and CEO of Air Products, and his team for having us here today. And as you would expect, the first thing I ask him is, what's the temperature up there? And why wouldn't you live in Florida? So if you like everybody that works with you, you want to move them down, more and more of them down here. But let me give you John's background. He joined Air Products in 1976 as a participant in the company's career development program. He held numerous positions before being named Vice President of the Chemicals Group in 2003. In 2006, he was appointed President and Chief Operating Officer before assuming his current position. He's been named CEO Champion of the Year by Skills USA for his leadership and vision supporting America's highly skilled workforce and promoting career technical education. So congratulations on all your success. I want to thank all the local elected officials because none of this happens without all of your support. If you go around our state today, we are on a roll. It's great to win national championships, but the most important thing we can do is build jobs. And all across our state, county commissioners, mayors, everyone, city managers are all making an impact. So thank you for all your hard work in making this happen. Next, I'd like to recognize Representative Jim Boyd. We got elected together in 2010. He became a leader right away. He was a leader in getting some needed reform done in our auto insurance, and not many people did that in their first term in office, and did a great job. So congratulations. Next, I'd like to recognize Gray Swope. Gray is the President and CEO of Enterprise Florida, which is your public-private partnership at the state level that helps get things done. Gray's been working here. He came from Mississippi and did a great job there, and he's just done an unbelievable job. I think they've done in 2 years and 11 months, 350 transactions, competitive transactions that we have won because of Gray and his team. So congratulations, Gray. Next, I'd like to recognize Larry Bussell, the chairman of the Manatee County Board of County Commissioners. Larry and all the other county commissioners and everyone else here has just done a great job, so congratulations. Sharon Holstrom, the President and CEO of the Bradenton Area Economic Development Corporation. When you get into this job, you can see the people are going to make things happen around the state, and Sharon's one of them. She does a great job getting things done, so congratulations. So when I ran, I thought about how do you get our economy going, right? You think about how do you raise the standard of living of a society? Well, you can't just trade among yourselves. You got to build things. You got to sell things. So one of the areas we increased funding at the state level was tourism. We're hitting record tourism numbers. That's big for our state. Not many people move here if they haven't come here as a tourist. And when they come here as tourists, they say, gosh, this is pretty nice. I might move my office here, buy a house, things like that. But on top of that, we need to do more manufacturing. So we started eliminating the sales tax we had on machinery and equipment, which was limiting or causing companies to think about whether they should add the expansion here or some other place. So thanks to the support of Representative Boyd, Senator Galvano, and others, we got that first reduced and then eliminated, so we'll get more and more manufacturing jobs. We also invested in our ports, because that's another big opportunity. So if you think about 3 things we can make sure we can do to grow jobs: more tourism, get more manufacturing, increase our ports. And we've done all those things in the last 3 years, and it's clearly working. Now, the way I think about it, we've had a big turnaround in our economy. 4 years before I became governor, we lost over 800,000 jobs. The private sector has added 446,000 jobs in 2 years and 11 months. But if you think about it, we want to build this for the next generation. I always talk about it. I have grandkids. I know I look way too young to have grandkids, but I have one that's 2 years old, and he always tells me what he wants to be. He wants to be a cowboy. You can be a cowboy in Florida. I mean, you can be an astronaut in Florida. You can build companies in Florida. You can, so my goal for him and my goal for everybody in our state is we're going to have the jobs for the next generation. We got to go out to the championship game and again watch the Seminoles win. I don't know if there's any Auburn grads here. I know there's one. I feel sorry for them, but not that much. But on the way, we went and met with companies up in San Francisco. There's a lot of those companies now that historically didn't think about Florida. They're thinking about Florida. We're going to get a lot of that. The companies that in the technology area, they're going to be coming here. But it's because we have great universities and great workforce. But today we're going to talk about jobs right here. We're proud to be part of the Air Products and Chemicals, Inc. grand opening. For over 70 years, the company has enabled customers to become more productive, energy efficient, and sustainable. With more than 20,000 employees in over 50 countries, we'd like all of them here, Air Products supplies innovative solutions to the energy, environment, and emerging markets. In order to stay ahead of the increasing demand for their world-leading liquefied natural gas technology and equipment, the company is expanding its manufacturing capacity right here in Manatee County and is creating 250 new jobs for Florida families. So congratulations. They could have chosen to go in cold places, high tax places, places that don't like businesses as much as Floridians do. But nope, they chose Manatee County, and they chose Florida because we have a great workforce, we've got a great climate, we've got lower taxes, less regulation, and we like businesses and business people to add jobs. This location's easy access to port services will facilitate global shipping of their very large equipment, and we have 15 seaports in our state that they're all expanding. Also allow Air Products to manufacture even larger liquefied natural gas heat exchangers. They're in high demand. So I want to thank everybody at Air Products for, one, their success in adding these jobs. Now, I'd like to highlight, when you do this, you have to think about, it's always people. So 250 sounds nice, but it's people. I grew up with parents that struggled for jobs. I lived in public housing. I remember my dad got his car repossessed. So getting a job for my family was a big deal. When my dad didn't have a job, it was a real problem. When he did have a job, life was much, much better in our family. So it's always important to recognize that when we talk about 250 jobs, it's a family. It's somebody that their life got changed. So first I want to recognize Bill Gerina, the plant manager. So Bill will come. Where's Bill? Yep. You come up. I'll brag about you. A little over 6 months ago, Bill was considering leaving the state. I can't imagine why you do that, but worried about opportunities. He came across Air Products and was offered the plant manager position. He was one of the first new hires at this facility. He's been allowed him to keep his wife and 3 children who are Floridians in their home state of Florida, and they're much happier with him, while offering other Florida families the same opportunity. In the past 6 months, he's helped hire over 50 new employees, and over the next 2 years, we'll add around another 200 employees. So thank you and congratulations for your success. Now I have a Governor's Business Ambassador Award to John. John, if you'll come up. This is a Governor's Business Ambassador Award, and I've given it to individuals that help create jobs in our state and help our families get to live each of their individual versions of the American dream. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Pleasant surprise.
So it's a great day to be a Floridian. It's a great day for Air Products. It's great to be here. Congratulations for the 250 employees. They're going to have great jobs right here.
I'd like to ask Representative to come up and please say a few words before we get to the other guests. Please. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sandy. I wasn't on.
Jim is one of the hardest workers. He is tireless when he comes to Tallahassee. If you want to get things done, you want to take it to Representative Boyd. He does a fantastic job.
Thank you. Thank you. If I was a smart elected official, I would sit down right now. Thank you. But I will say something very quickly. Thank you very much, Governor. It is really, this isn't a mutual admiration society. It is very much a privilege and a pleasure to work with a governor who cares about families first, education, jobs, and quality of life. And Governor, thank you for what you've done to make Florida the best place to live and work in this country. So thank you. I'm done, but this is a big, big day for Manatee County. We could not be happier that we're here at Port of Manatee celebrating such a huge success for our community. John, Sandy, thank you for your commitment. We will make you proud. I was telling the governor on the way in, he said, is this in your legislative district? And I said, well, it's kind of on the line between Stubbe, Rusan, and myself, so we're all fighting for you, but that means you get 3 representatives instead of 1. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your commitment to our community. Thank you for creating jobs, and we're happy to be part of your success in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, and thank you, Governor Scott, for taking the time to be here with us today and participating in this event. Our next speaker, I'm very pleased to introduce. He's been very involved with Air Products LNG business over the years. He's been present at many milestone events and important occasions for this business, and today is yet another milestone event in the growing of our LNG heat exchanger business. And with us to provide these comments is Air Products Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer, John McGlade. John.
So let me also extend my welcome to all of you here and a very, very big thank you to the many people that have helped contribute to this, but particularly to the governor and to Gray Swoop for their unwavering guidance and support as we were going through, as Sandy mentioned, the privilege of making his site selection. I don't think it'll be hard to get people to want to come to your state, particularly at this time of year. And we were talking on a walk around, as we begin to ramp up for, manufacturing here, the willingness of many of our employees to come and assist with the startup and the training that goes with that. Let me just step back a minute and talk just a few seconds about Air Products. We were founded in 1940 by an entrepreneur who didn't have the luxury of even finishing high school. His name was Leonard Poole, and he went on to create one of the largest industrial gas companies in the world. And he really is the one that we attribute to really building an innovative culture in our company. He was focused on driving operational excellence, meeting our customers' needs, and an unwavering commitment to the communities that we operate in. Safety, as Sandy mentioned earlier on this morning, is one of our core values, as is environmental sensitivity and sustainability core values, again, of the company, and they go all the way back to Leonard's early founding of the company in 1940. He also had a very high level of expectation of employees that we would do business with integrity and ethical behavior and honesty. And we have a zero tolerance policy in that area. And anyone who knows us as a company, and hopefully you'll know us as a very, very good corporate citizen in the communities that we operate in. Let me talk a little bit about the liquefied natural gas business. If I go back to Leonard and building upon innovation as a way to grow the company, I could give you multiple examples that we don't have time to talk about today, but I'll talk about the liquefied natural gas business. He and the team saw an opportunity in the early 60s. So we've been making these heat exchangers under proprietary technology and processes since the early 1960s. Really geared to be untrap stranded gas around the globe to meet the increased demand for energy on a global basis. And as most of you know, natural gas is one of the cleanest hydrocarbon-based fuels, and so it has an environmental benefit. And so we're able to, with this technology, bring gas from mid-Africa, from Asia, from Australia, now frankly from the United States, and transport it globally to where the demand is. And it's a global transportation fuel that obviously has interesting environmental benefits in that context. But so what is liquefied natural gas? And it's always hard to tell, well, why do you have to liquefy it? You know, in the United States, normally we produce it at a well and put it in a pipeline. Well, if that gas is in mid-Africa, there's not a lot of demand for it, so you have to liquefy it. The reason, I'll give you a little graphic. If you were to take LNG and try to ship it, if you were to take natural gas and try to ship it as gas, think of a stack of 600 pennies, and how would you move that? You couldn't put 600 pennies too readily in your pocket. But when we liquefy it, it takes those 600 pennies and makes it one. And now you can easily put 1 penny in your pocket, and that's the heart of this technology. Our technology, if you think of what we do, is we are, if you take a human body and make an analogy, we're the heart of the human body. These facilities are massive, but without this capability and this technology, they really don't produce and meet the expectations of our customers. If we think about it in another couple of dimensions, just again to try to put some parameters around it, the governor mentioned football and the national championship. Well, some of these heat exchangers, and obviously we don't have a real one here today, but in about, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years, you'll see the output of what one of these look. But to put it in context, the length of one of those is about 2/3 of a football field. That's how big they are. The diameters are 15 feet today, and we're limited today, as Sandy mentioned, by shipping constraints. So one of the key reasons was the port. And the proximity to the port, and you know, the manufacturing flow starts here, but we can go right out the last building where the final assembly is and go right down to the port. And frankly, Sandy was telling me, he wouldn't give me how much more efficient this facility can be because you know, he's smart about that and not making me set high targets. But it has, frankly, the opportunity to take weeks off of the schedule just by the shipping constraints that we face. We also mentioned this facility and our sister facility in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, really have supplied the vast majority of the technology and the equipment for the LNG business of the world. Starting back in the 60s, we expect that to continue. We expect both facilities to be vibrant. The facilities will do a little bit different things, and we'll be able to continue to scale our technology up here because of the elimination of the shipping constraints. But there's another connection between this facility and Wilkes-Barre. One of those heat exchangers has 1,000 miles. Think of this, 1,000 miles of 3/8 inch or so stainless steel tubing or aluminum tubing. 1,000 miles. It's almost the distance from here to Wilkes-Barre, or to Pennsylvania at least. So another little connection between the two facilities. Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge a number of other people. I always get a little nervous when I have to acknowledge people because you invariably forget somebody. But again, the governor, Secretary Swoop, Tim Johns at Enterprise Florida, Sharon Hillstrom of the Economic Development Committee, and the Manatee County Commissioners, and a host of many other people that really were instrumental in helping us move here. Another point, and I really appreciated the governor's acknowledging this, one of my passions is career technical education. And while you know, a lot of attributes physically for this site, the fact that we have the Manatee Technical Institute right down the street. We can't manufacture without skilled manufacturing technicians, welders, and on and on and on. And the Career Technical Institutes, I'm a graduate of a Career Technical Institute from high school. The capabilities and the skills that can be trained and developed there are absolutely critical to this facility and absolutely critical, frankly, to manufacturing across our country today. One of the things that I think is really important for us here is, and the reason we've been able to maintain the leadership in the technology that we have in the marketplace here is we build a quality product. Go back to Leonard Poole. We've got to meet our customers' expectations. If we're the heart of that facility, it has to work. You know, if our heart doesn't work, you know where that goes, right? And these facilities are in remote places, and we're dollar-wise a very small part of the billions of dollars of investment, but we're the enabler. And so our customers expect us to deliver the highest quality product that is reliable and meets their needs day in and day out. And that's what we are focused on as a company. It gets back to this great workforce behind us and the other 20,000 employees around Air Products that have to make that happen each and every day. So in the interest of time, what I'd like to just do is once again, before I thank all of the folks that helped get us here, I also want to ask you to give me a round of applause for the Air Products team that has put a lot of effort into this. So thank you again. It really is exciting for me to be here today to see what we've been talking about for a number of years really come together. So thank you also for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us.
Thank you, John. And I can assure you that the LNG team has always been grateful for the help that you've given us and the support over the years. Thank you. But John also mentioned there about the Florida team that worked for our site selection and did such a quality job leveling the playing field for us really in choosing this location that when we eventually decided this is where we wanted to be. And Florida's Secretary of Commerce, Grace Swope, was a really active participant in that process, and I'm really happy that he's here with us today and I'm able to introduce him to you. So now, please, Secretary Swope.
Thank you, Sandy. John, we're glad to be here today to celebrate this opening of this facility. And first of all, I got to tell you, I'm glad to be back in Florida. Yesterday, I was up in the north and had a tour of a manufacturing facility. And they were all wrapped up in overcoats, hats, scarves, gloves. I was dressed like this. I said, guys, I'm from Florida. I don't even have an overcoat. Come on down. But it's true. It was 9 degrees, and it was quite a brisk morning. But I am really glad to be back here in Florida, and certainly in Manatee County. I can't think of a better way to start a new year, to be here to celebrate the opening of Air Products, the jobs, the investment that goes along with it. It is proof that our economy has turned around and good things that are happening. John mentioned this, Sandy's mentioned this, the governor's mentioned this, but these projects are truly competitive. They're competitive projects. And when you look at manufacturing as a target, it's one of our key targets in the state. You have to build good fiscal policy that goes along with it. With leadership like Representative Boyd, the House and the Senate, and the governor, we are really pleased in April of this year, sales tax on manufacturing equipment will go away. Because we understand in this sector, economic impact. We're excited about the 200 plus jobs here, but we don't talk a lot about the jobs that will be generated by this. So if you look at manufacturing and indirect jobs, the National Manufacturing Association estimates that indirect jobs in manufacturing and technology and services to go with, for every one job here, there's 1.73 created elsewhere. So it has a huge economic impact, more so than most of the other sectors that are out there. So it is an important target. But companies like Air Products also know that there's value in investments of 50 plus million in these number of jobs, and they're competitive. They're going to go in places where states want them there. The fiscal policy of that state is in order, that it's not going to be looking at businesses to tax in the future. And so that's an important part. But the next piece of that is having the right team at the table that can work, because again, companies like Air Products, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but they understand it's not a matter if there will be a problem, it's when, and who can be there to support it. And so these teams start with people like workforce. Ted, where are you? Back here in the back, I mean, we've got great skilled people in this state, you know this. But Ted and his team, Workforce Board, they'll be working with the locals here to make sure that we also provide new skills, new training that supports this company as we move forward. It's also important to recognize our utility partners, Florida Power and Light. Crystal, you're here, and these guys are aggressive in rate riders for these type businesses to come to our state. and it's critical that they're a part of that. I mentioned the legislature and giving us the tools necessary to compete. They're part of that team. And so if you look at the team as a whole, we're doing the right things in those parts. But kind of where the rubber meets the road is where the locals and the state play. And I think about Susan, our first meeting with Robert in the office there at the Capitol in Tallahassee, and Sharon, you and Lauren have been involved in the process, and we got the briefing on the project. And we knew it was going to be a challenging project to locate in Florida, to overcome some of the things that were necessary to make this happen. But we also wanted to make the impression that this team could do it. It's a can-do team. So I mentioned Sharon, her team locally, the EFI team was involved, but all good teams start at the top. And so during that meeting, Governor Scott, and we were way back in the back, this is before it was in 11, so it's kind of during a session, kind of a crazy time, as you know. But Governor Scott came back and met the Air Products team and talked to them about the importance of doing business in Florida. And so I think that's important to note, because this governor, you hear about him making calls all the time, but every chance he gets to be in front of a company and talk about the business environment and about his team and the support, not just from Enterprise Florida, but from the other state agencies that play in that process, from workforce to permitting, all across the board. We're all on the jobs team in the state of Florida. So when you look at competitive projects and what this team's doing, in the governor's leadership, the number of projects, he mentioned how many deals we did last year. If you look at the total number of projects that we have done and increased from previous years, it's up 27%. If you look at the number, if you look at the number of jobs on those projects, it's up 41%. And what I kind of gauge, whether people vote with their pocketbook, is looking at capital investment. Capital investment's up 75% in that same period. So, John, our team stays ready. Sandy, our team's ready. We're ready to help you expand here. We will double the size of it. That's right. You got the land. You got the local team, the county commission, and their leadership as well. And when you finally outgrow this place, we've got other places around the state too. We'll help you as much as we can. But yeah. No, we'll go until we get to zero unemployment here. No, we're excited about this opportunity, and it's a great honor to be here today to celebrate a manufacturing win like this for the state of Florida, for Manatee County. Again, the locals, I cannot say enough about the job, the county, Sharon, the EDC, the job that you guys have done to help pull this together. So thank you very much. So it's my honor now to introduce Larry Bussell, who's right here behind me. He's a native of Manatee County, former mayor of Palmetto. He now serves as chairman of the Manatee Commission. So, Larry.
Over the years, I've given quite a few speeches, but this is the first time I've ever had a governor, CEO, chairman of a Fortune 200 company, and Secretary of Commerce warm up and energize the crowd for me.
We did okay.
Yeah. Good job, Governor. Thank you. For the time that I've been a commissioner, which is now about 5 years, the primary focus of our Board of County Commissioners has been to create jobs, to do everything that we knew how to do, to incentivize and to bring about new jobs to help us work our way out of the problems that we've been in. In our parallel role as the Port Authority for Port Manatee, we've also recognized that Port Manatee did have and still has the potential for creating the most jobs. And we all realize that someday it's going to take off. I mean, it really is going to take off. And those 4,000, 5,000 acres of land that are around here are going to be hard to find because they're going to be in high demand. So this is proof of it. I think I have to congratulate all the folks from Air Products who have started the ball rolling. The momentum is building. I think there will be a lot of attractions to this area because of Air Products. So on behalf of the Manatee County Commission, thank you to your management. Thank you to the governor for his support. and to all the folks that have been involved in putting this together. We are on a roll.
Thank you, Larry, and thank you, Secretary Swope. I can assure you the story that you said about the meeting of the Air Products team in Tallahassee, I know when everyone came back for there, that made an impact. I can assure you. Thank you. When I mentioned local support, we simply can't leave out the Bradenton Area Economic Development Corporation, and I have to say, a tremendous group of ambassadors for this area. Right? It's my pleasure to introduce to you Sharon Hillstrom, who's the president of the Bradenton Area Economic Development Corporation. Sharon.
Good morning. So great to see all of you here. And John, I guess you can see how excited we are to have Air Products here by the turnout from the community. So thank you all for being here. I think what I want to do this morning is kind of take you through the process that got us to this point. Almost 2 years ago, a site selection consultant contacted Enterprise Florida, our state economic development organization, and they had a need. A global Fortune 300 company wanted to locate a new manufacturing facility near a deepwater seaport. In addition, the community had to offer a workforce well suited to the company's needs, or be willing to provide the specialized training to upgrade those skills of local workers. Enterprise Florida, being well-versed in the unique assets the Bradenton area had to offer, recommended a visit to our community. You do know those unique assets, don't you, Gray? We try to make sure of that. During that visit, the Bradenton Area EDC, along with our great local partners in economic development, showed Air Products that the Bradenton area could deliver on all fronts. A site near Port Manatee with easy access to a berth was identified, and as John said, these things are enormous, so they didn't want to have to navigate any turns. So Port Manatee and the property where we are now offered a great opportunity. Additionally, Suncoast Workforce, Ted and his team, and the Manatee Technical Institute, I see Mary Cantrell in the back of the room, stood ready to assist the company in recruiting and training new employees. The EDC, Manatee County Government, and Air Products came together as a team to navigate through many often, right, Susan, complex details. But we got here. Today, you see the outcome of months of collaboration, and I mean true collaboration, between government, educators, workforce development partners, and all the professionals involved in getting this deal done. So, what does Air Products locating here in the Bradenton area mean? Well, certainly jobs, wages, local spending, and capital investment. In addition, and perhaps of paramount importance for the long-term economic sustainability of this community, Air Products locating here demonstrates that the Bradenton area is a prime destination. I'm going to say that again, prime destination for global businesses, and is unsurpassed as a business-friendly environment for growth companies. So, welcome Air Products. As I think you are aware, we are so glad you're here. In fact, when Robert Episcopo was here visiting, everybody said, all our county commissioners, everybody he met with, we're so glad you're here. And he kept saying, wow, I guess they really are. And we are. So thank you for proving our claim, think global, think Bradenton area. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, and for all the assistance that you've given us, you and your team, and over the last 2 years, 2.5 years. Thank you. Now, once we finish today, this plant goes into operation, and the person who is going to play a really integral part in driving this place forward and making sure we meet all our commitments is one of our first hires, who was previously introduced by the governor, our plant manager, Bill Jurina, a local find, been a resident in the area for a number of years, and his family's here, and they're Floridians, as was said. So very pleased to introduce you to Bill Jurina.
Thanks, Sandy. What a day. I'd really like to thank everyone for joining us this morning for this event. Speaking on behalf of the workforce at this facility, we are ready to go. I must say that one of the unfortunate consequences of being last in the speaking order is the early realization of how difficult it's going to be to add something to this program or say something that hasn't already been said by some of our other distinguished speakers. That said, I thought I should tell you that I feel like such a very lucky person. I am privileged to have been selected as the plant manager and be part of a great team, a team that will produce a global leading technology that helps to assist meeting the world's clean energy demands. I am also joined by a wonderful group of colleagues and team members that are excited about doing this work and upholding Air Products' technology leading reputation. I mean, really, how awesome is that? I can tell you that we here at Port Manatee Air Products are ready to meet that challenge. Let me just take just a few moments to tell you about the workforce that we have hired locally that will rise to that challenge. The Air Products Port Manatee team has been extremely successful in identifying and hiring local talent to fill what are highly technically skilled jobs. And I would argue that these jobs require something even beyond a technical skill, something more closely related to artistry. Our Air Products recruiters have worked with Manatee Technical Institute and the Suncoast workforce, focusing on training and hiring a local team that will meet. And if you've met these folks and seen their dedication and the level of their skill, I think you'd agree with me, they will eventually exceed those world-class expectations. The team members that comprise that workforce are seated throughout this audience today and are taking part in our dedication. Manatee Technical Institute, Suncoast Workforce, and our AP recruiting team should take a great amount of pride in assembling such an impressive and diverse group. Next, I'd be extremely remiss if I did not acknowledge the Air Products team members at our sister site in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Their decades of excellent performance have built an industry-leading reputation of quality. These professionals have shared their intimate knowledge of the LNG heat exchanger manufacturing processes, allowing us to minimize our learning curve, and more importantly, embedding those skills necessary to remain an industry leader. On behalf of our current and our future Palmetto workforce, I want to thank Wilkes-Barre colleagues for their dedication to assuring this team's success. And because of the open attitude they literally showered upon us, we already feel like we're part of the overall Air Products LNG manufacturing team. And what an excellent feeling that is. Finally, the Air Products Port Manatee team wants to thank everyone here today who had a role to play in locating this facility at the Port of Manatee. Those efforts have resulted in growing not only a business and bettering a local economic situation and climate, but more importantly, it grows a community full of folks, right? That effort really has translated into positively changing the arcs of those folks. One of those folks is standing here before you. When I look back at all those positives, that's why it's great to be part of this team. And as a result, we are all excited about beginning production and seeing what the future holds for this location. We are Air Products proud. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill, and really, I do look forward to working with you a long time. Thank you. And now, to make an official dedication for this facility, I would ask Governor Scott, John McGlade, and Bill if they could join me up here, and we're going to make the first official cut of some of our materials here to dedicate the facility. Governor?
I think we're all going to do the most interesting ribbon cutting. I've done this for 3 years now, and this will be the most interesting ribbon cutting we've ever done. So we're all going to head down here to the left, to the nice piece of machinery down there, and we're going to see the ribbon cutting. Well, this is exciting news. Air Products, 250 jobs. I ran in 2010 to try to turn our economy around. We've seen a significant turnaround in our economy. It's great when you see a company like Air Products, a big global company with works in 58 countries, pick Manatee County, Bradenton area. They have 250 jobs. So it's exciting for the port. It's exciting for our state. We've had so many great things happen to our state. We're building the opportunity economy. Also did win the national championship, which was really nice. With that, to answer your question, when I came into this job, I thought about, okay, how do you improve the economy? Well, we've invested in tourism. We're hitting record tourism numbers. We've invested in our ports. A little less than $700 million in 3 years in our 15 seaports. And what we're seeing is a lot of jobs. Exports are up quite a bit, and we're seeing a lot more jobs. Also, as you invest in the ports, you get more manufacturing, which is what we're seeing today. So our ports are competing, our ports are cooperating, but what's exciting is we're getting more jobs for Florida families. Well, it's whatever the private sector is able to do. What we need to do as in government is create an opportunity so the private sector just thrives, which is what it's doing now. If you look at what's happening to our economy now, as people move to our state, as jobs have come back to our state, our budget's gotten a lot better. I walked in with a $3.6 billion budget deficit. Not a lot of fun to try to balance a $3.6 billion budget deficit, but we did it, and now our economy is growing and we have a budget surplus. Now our job is to make the investments which make this the opportunity economy, and that's what we're going to do. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks. I think this is huge for the community. It brings jobs, helps our economy, helps our port. Our port is so positioned and so poised for big things in the future. This is just the start of that. We couldn't be happier that Air Products has chosen Manatee County to be their base in Florida. Port Manatee is huge for this area. With what's gone on just most recently with the berth improvements, I think it's 1,100 direct and indirect jobs it'll bring to Manatee County. We're positioned as in terms of proximity to the new expansion of Panama Canal, as you know, the closest seaport to Panama Canal. That's huge. There's other businesses that are looking at Port Manatee right now to bring their time and their talent and their energy here to Manatee County. So this couldn't be better for Manatee County. I think it's going to be huge for us. I think it's going to be huge for Florida. Big day for Manatee County, though. That just adds value to our economy. It brings families here. It gives families perhaps that are already here the opportunity for jobs. 400 jobs is not insignificant in our community. That's a big employer. So it's just going to really help not only our community, it's going to bring talent in from other places, but it's going to give our friends and our neighbors a chance for employment in a really good company as well. Well, we're open for business. Manatee County is very helpful and very easy to work with in terms of encouraging business to come here. The state of Florida, I've been proud to be part of the legislature that's worked really hard to decrease the burdens and the hurdles and allow businesses to come and work with them to be here. So we're open for business. Give us a shot.
We've been talking for a long time about how Port Manatee is going to someday take off running, and believe it or not, it's here. And this is proof of what we've been saying all along. It's a fantastic company and a fantastic product and a major step forward for Port Manatee and the environment here, the environs here. Various estimates show that we have anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000, maybe even more acres of land that's available and could do things like this type of an operation, manufacturing, something that can take advantage of the proximity to the port. Well, there's a very large waterfall effect, I guess you would call it, from a job that's created. Many other jobs are created as a result of one job being created. And the dollars multiply the same way. So we're really excited. Initially about 250, as you say, growing way beyond that. And the payoff for Manatee County is going to be amazing. Not too far north of here, it's in the teens and below. So to say come down and enjoy the sun and also have a great work experience, that's an easy sell, I think. Manatee County, the EDC Corporation, as well as the county economic development folks have provided incentives to Air Products for the jobs that they're creating. And if those jobs turn out to be created, then they get cash. That's a big incentive, I think, for a startup company.
This is a huge boost to the community, both from a local and international perspective. Air Products is locating at this facility because they are direct access to a major seaport. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come here. Before they even made the final selection to choose Port Manatee, they came down and we looked at the geometry of making sure that these towers could fit through the port. And now we have berth 12 and 14 that we just constructed, able to handle the size of exports. Well, the impact is absolutely outstanding. You don't have today, to my knowledge, any facility purely dedicated to exports based by or locating by a port. In addition to your 200 jobs or 250 jobs, for each $250,000 of export value, and these pieces of equipment are going to be about $400 million. You divide that by 250,000, you get another over 3,000 more jobs in addition to the 250. Well, we see more Pashas, we see more autos, we see more air products like companies. We see essentially becoming an international gateway based upon the needs of our surrounding businesses. Well, when you look at the entire Southeast and Gulf Coast, I think when you do the analysis, you're going to find that this is the easiest, fastest, and best place to do business with.
Oh, this is the beginning, the poster child for the Port Encouragement Zone that we at the county created almost a half dozen years ago to encourage business rather than residential development around the port. This building, this type of business, clean energy, directly across from the port, good quality jobs, just a wonderful addition to the community. And the kickstart, the Port Encouragement Zone, we would like many more businesses like Air Products to show up here on the property to the east of the port, all the way to the interstate. Most ports were the genesis of cities that eventually surrounded them, and now they're landlocked. This port grew up without a city around it, and now has land available for future development for businesses like Air Products to come in, do their business, have direct access to the port without tearing up a neighborhood. Jobs are what we're all about. We've been about it for almost 6 years now. We Jobs Now program to recruit businesses to pay an excellent wage, as Air Products does. We can only hope for more, and I was talking to Sharon Hillstrom earlier, and it looks like people are knocking on the door, and we couldn't be more thrilled to find employment for the people in Manatee County.
Unbelievable, 250 jobs, nice paying jobs. It's a very growing industry. There's not a lot of competition for them, so I think that'll help them expand even further in the years to come. A lot of neat things came together to make this possible, and one that we're very proud of at the Chamber is having worked with the legislature to get additional funding for Manatee Technical Institute that allowed them to do the training for the welders to make this possible. So it's an exciting day for everybody. In this encouragement zone that surrounds the port, which is very unique to ports, most of them are built out in the middle of cities, and they're building tunnels and they're building raised walkways and roadways to get there. This one is poised to grow and make sure that the traffic can get to Michigan without heading through one stoplight. So the importance is that people just are overwhelmed when they come down here and hear about the encouragement zone and what it means to them to get up and running in a quick, expedient manner.
Air Products choosing Manatee County, Florida is a significant increase to this area's economic development, especially the Port Manatee. And Port Manatee is one of the focuses of our economic development efforts on behalf of the county. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our economic development team, Karen Stewart leading that, and her staff, and the hard work of all the departments, our utilities, public works, building, all of them, to get this rapid response project. But as they mentioned today, it's a community-changing event. We hope that this is a catalyst in catapulting the port on the top of the list of companies across the country and the world. So it's just a significant event. The reason that impact of over 400 jobs to Air Products here in Manatee County is so significant is twofold. It's the location here near the port, and it's the indirect impact that those 400 jobs will have to the economy in the area. It's true that we use a multiplier of 1.733 jobs made for each job that's created here. You need product suppliers in the area for Air Products, and families that become a part of this community can expand and work for companies in the area. So it's so significant to the economy. Manatee County's been dedicated for the past 4 years now of making a business-friendly environment for companies. Some of the things that we do and we would like to promote to other companies is a rapid response program. I think you can ask Air Products anytime how quickly they were able to get through the project and get open and be here today for the dedication. We follow all the rules, but we're able to condense that time, and time is money, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that we're focused on that. Additionally, it's a community involvement right from the county commissioners down to the staff of the departments and the organizations and other companies in the community. And I think most people want that kind of feeling of investment, and that's what Manatee County has to offer.
If you have a manufacturing company, you're going to want to locate, number one, where it's a right-to-work state, number two, where there's no personal income tax. For manufacturing, you need to wait to get your raw product in and your finished product out. We have a beautiful interstate system, we have a deep water port, and we still have the railroad thanks to Tropicana. So these are wonderful assets, but if you cannot get a skilled workforce, you can't relocate here. Without that skilled workforce, that's the difference. And Manatee Tech will provide that. And what's been so exciting about Air Products is the partnership and working with them and watching students compete for those jobs, and graduates calling and saying, how do I get on at Air Products, and coming back to school to get that specialized aluminum. It's a wonderful company.
And Charles, Manatee Technical Institute is one of 44 technical institutes across the state of Florida. And the nice thing about Manatee Technical Institute is we are heavily involved into the industrial programs as well. So we offer welding, we offer machining, we offer the programs that will bring the companies here to Manatee County. So we're ready for the future, and we can meet the demand. Actually here in Manatee County, we start at the elementary level with many schools in Manatee County that have engineering at the elementary, and they advance into middle school, and we actually have academies now here in Manatee County at the middle school, and we also have 21 nationally certified academies at the high school, and then they can funnel into Manatee Technical Institute. So we're actually building a workforce from the kindergarten level up.
The CEO of this company was the CEO of the Year for Skills USA, and that's the organization which our students compete. So every year when we go to national, our lanyards have Air Products written all over them. So it's really nice that we're the 10 years in a row, we've been the national champion by winning more medals than any other school. So it's a great tie-in, and the CEO for Skills USA, Tim Lawrence, will be on our campus this fall. So I'm excited about that too.